After watching the manufacturing process of Eugene, Taichung understood why yachting can be called the greatest invention in the form of transportation. For only a 7-car body, it is necessary to use a high-alarm phenomenon machine to show the current aesthetic standards, so as to improve the difficulty of drifting and reduce the problem of overturning into the sea. This is the Yamaha Communication Manufacturing Factory, which makes very low clothes, and the workers first turn on the workshop lighting, and then clean the pen in the mold with a stripping cloth, and then take a nose photo, and pull the matching belt tightly with both hands to the bottom of the head. At this point, the tool is inserted into the drawing. Close the lid to avoid falling into the desk debris. Now it's spray paint. This is a yacht-specific paint. It was developed on the basis of the ordinary free air. Industrial drawings. It is easier to have stronger than ordinary free air. The texture is better. After a short period of storage, the observation drawing material. After the band solidifies as a whole. Manually bar the switch to activate the machine. The black drawing material is sprayed below. The reason for the change to black paint. The main purpose is to avoid the paint run in the F2P lamination process. F2P is the high-line tail reinforcement material in front of you. It is also the tail of the glass line that people must know. The advantage of this material is that it has high strength. It is a long line material on a small hull. Do you have such questions at this moment? Why don't the workers in the video wear masks? Now let's move on to the next step. First, shake a layer of sap on the surface of the boat. Tree sap is a polymer compound. It has a very high age. Then the glass wire tail is broken and thrown to the surface. The tail of the glass thread is a composite material that looks like a hair in front of you. When the beams are combined, they will become another extremely high material in India, FRP. A common say in Polygon Yuan that was transported into the playground. Basically, you can see the figure of FRP. The entire glass wire is then tail laid onto the propagation surface. Don't look at it, it's only a thin layer. But it could double India again. Then a few branches of the dragon feud were sprayed. And use tools to repeatedly press the material until the beams fit perfectly. Not a single bubble is missing from the surface. That's the purpose of spewing black gas. If all white clay is used, those lingering bubbles, you'll be hard-pressed to spot. This is also the most useful result that has been achieved many times. After the representative surface is fully brushed with 2 layers of glass lines. Let's move on to the next step. Install heirloom bone material. These planks can act as support. This increases the durability of both the body and the side. And use a rigid mold to firmly fix the plank. Now it is up to Hangzhou to adjust the longbow in front of you. You may not be able to see clearly. The adjustment is 2-part, the upper is the straight and the lower is longer. The color before the Hangzhou sect deceived the sect was the body of the dragon drum. The main function of the dragon drum is to mature the body. Longitudinal bend area legislative. This increases the strength of the body during cornering. Later, the dragon drum and the body are brushed with a large number of good vibes and put aside to let nature interfere. After the volume of the transfer map is solidified. At this moment, you can see a small square on the surface. It is precisely because of these things that a physical high-speed situation is guaranteed. Below began to disassemble the sluggishness. Can you imagine that this big body muscle is leaning on 3 straps? That's why it's a way of dressing. Watching and playing. But it's fixed point. But it's very old. 1 in front and 2 in the back. This is also with the help of shoes. Separate the body. Just so lightly and easily tapped. And when he passed on his body, he was baptized. And the workers of the body. But he held the pipe. Constantly helped to pass the air into the body. Under the wheel square formula. The herald is finally separated. The surface is as fresh as ever. There is no need to give a thorn. Then rely on Hangzhou Tin. Tune in from the middle. Slow ahead of the shipment. Now it's time for the next workshop. Inside this workshop, Gongren will do a full range of details of the handover. First of all, the end of the collar will be darkened and horizontally cut. Next, take out the long-prepared free body engine. This is a 6330 diesel game machine that holds me. The reason for choosing a diesel tour machine. The main purpose is to damage the power of the uneven. Secondly, there is the body of the airplane. But when everyone buys a swimmer, It is still recommended to choose a strong power environment for diesel gains. In the later stage, it is easier to scold second-hand. Then inject an appropriate amount of glass glue into the far hole. Thus increasing the sale of screws is practical. Otherwise, it is easy to rot when the water is clear for a long time. The black intersecting strip is then installed in the cold place. This thing has a certain anti-state effect. Then hammer it into it hard. Next, it is time for the final assembly. First of all, the chicken food is hidden and installed in a suitable location. The pre-front and post-fixation ratios are fixed to avoid inconsistencies. Next, start beating the glass peppers. First, fill all the places where the glass pepper is placed darkly. Follow with an even smoothing finish. In this way, the water will not be clear. Then take the coke strip of the submaster on the surface of the same thing. The surface also becomes knotted and long. Now start installing quite a brush dedicated to it. Similar to its car and brush, this position is quite important. Only by installing labor can we avoid the business of returning water. Next, start installing the driving cache. Start by removing the steering wheel. Aim at Jianqiao and race into it. Then slowly tighten the big snail mold. Let's start installing the door. For this door, most people will choose to push the door. Even if there is a strong and quiet peak, it won't hurt your head either. Next, into the final details, Kim Hyo. If there is a small grass boiling area, workers use grinders. The surface is carefully repaired for a long time. And the workers here are also busy with Luchang. Perform a final inspection before exiting. After multiple rounds of testing. Next, prepare to pass on the body Panchue. You read every piece of the biography right. Before appearing, they will go through the resignation permit. Ling Shui should be testing the drainage of the body. Finally, pick a weather situation that is very 10,000 mile. Log in and get ready to start performance testing. First of all, activate the switch to check the medical tables. The medical table contains data and form speed. And the most common navigation devices. Let's take a look at the yacht in its high-speed form. Talking about the trivia. Domestic yachts also need to increase in price. The main atmosphere and the national sea price rose. The two are not interoperable. So everyone when buying a yacht. It is also necessary to take the price increase according to the situation.